Coming into the game today, we find out Lowry will not play. Pascal Siakam will not play. Fred VanVleet will not play. Against one of the top teams, if not the top team in the Western Conference. I think they are the top, aren't they? The Denver Nuggets, yeah, they're top in the Western Conference. You know what? Today was going to be an example of a few things. Number one, you need to grind it out. Number two, you needed depth scoring. You needed more than just Kawhi Leonard and one or two other guys to really get something going. You needed a total team effort here. On the defensive end, yeah, they did a great job. Offensively, Kawhi Leonard, DeLon Wright, Pascal Siakam, or I wish it was Pascal, Serge Ibaka. The only three guys in double figures for this team today. The only three guys who actually shot the ball well. And the Raptors lose 95-86 to the Denver Nuggets, guys. The Raptors scored a total of 86 points. I understand. JV's out. Fred's now, well, he was, at least for this game. JV, Fred, Norman Powell, Kyle Lowry, Pascal Siakam. Am I missing anybody? If I am, let me know, because there's so many damn injuries with this team. And you needed to grind this baby out. Look, first quarter is 23-23, and we're actually happy with that. Second quarter rolls around, you hold them to only 16 points, and you're like, and you're plus 8, and you're like, wow, we're going to halftime up 8. That's what you like to see. With about 3 or 4 minutes to play in the the third quarter, Raptors up 13, and you're like, this is gorgeous. Now you just need the bench to dig in a little bit, give you some significant minutes, and hang on till the 8-9 minute mark of that fourth quarter. Then the starters come out and run the table the rest of the way. Yeah, well, that didn't even remotely close to happen at all. If you combine the last 3 minutes and the first 2 minutes of the fourth quarter and the end of the third quarter, wasn't it like a 15-2 run or some joke of a number like that? The Nuggets went from being down 13 to up 8 in like a flash. Actually, it might have been a 20-2 run or something like that. The bench did squat. We'll run through those stats in a little bit here. And you need to find a way to come out there and grind near the end, as they did in the last game against Portland. The Raptors do cut it to 3 with about 2 minutes to play. Can't do it. Then Ibaka gets a 6th foul, he gets done, and then he gets a technical, and we're like, well, that pretty much, that's the night right there. See you guys. Have a good one. That's it. We can argue about the refs all you want. But in the end today, the reason this Raptor team lost, and I'm not going to use injuries as an excuse, because the team you saw today, not that they should have won, but they had an opportunity to win. And they played so good defensively. And how many wide open looks did the team miss? How many? The Raptors shot a total of 40% from the field and 20% from 3, 7 for 35. That's awful. 64% from the free throw line, 9 for 14. Every single shooting stat possible the Raptors had was horrendous. With Pascal Siakam being out, in draws CJ Miles, coming off his season high in points, 13. Not really a great number, but he played well in the last game. So you want to try and keep him in the groove. You put him as a starter, and man, did that not work out. He plays 33 minutes, probably about 31 too many. He gives you 6 points, 4 boards on 2 of 12 shooting, 2 of 9 from 3, a -8 on the floor. Awful. We talked about Kawhi Leonard, Ibaka, and DeLon Wright having good numbers. Kawhi, 29 points, 14 boards, 4 assists on 12-21 shooting, 4-4 from the line, 1 of 6 from 3, not great, but he did a lot of other things to help this team. He was a +3 on the floor. Ibaka, 14 points, 7 boards on 6 of 10 shooting. DeLon Wright, 15 points, 8 boards, 4 assists on 6 of 12 shooting. He was 0 of 4 from 3, though. But all 3 guys I just mentioned were all plus players on the floor. Now, I know, guys, coming into the game where we've been hearing all the rumblings about Kawhi Leonard and LA being still the destination that he wants to go to. I'm not sure who these people are hearing this stuff from. But we've heard reports like this, and they've gone up and down like crazy. You know, we've heard that he didn't even want to play for this team. And he wouldn't even play. A few hours later, well, you know, I'll give him the shot. You really think Kawhi Leonard's going to come out and say all these things to the media? No. So, guys, forget about what the American media is saying about Kawhi Leonard. His focus is on being in LA. That's great. That's nice to hear, guys. So is Paul George. And is he there? No. No, he's not. So, I don't care. I really don't. So we talked about the guys who played well in the game. I just want to mention that kind of stuff because it's just really annoying. Danny Green had a big game in his last one, even though the Raptors lost, but he did have a great game. Danny only had 7 points, 5 boards in the game today. 3 of 9 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3, plus -2 on the floor. Again, you needed your role players, your guys to make a bigger impact. They didn't really. Another example of that, OG Anunoby. And this is where we get the thing, the bench. Remember how we talked about off the start? They had that horrendous run in that third quarter. OG Anunoby, 7 points, 5 boards in 26 minutes. He shot 2 of 10 from the field, 2 of 8 from 3. Yeah, he had a steal and 2 blocks. That's nice and all. When you can't shoot the ball, it doesn't mean anything to me. -18 was OG Anunoby. He was awful. Straight up horrendous. Where was the guy that was shooting at a ridiculously good clip last year, having come in... It made no sense at all, right? He comes back from that horrendous injury back in college, drops in stock, the Raptors take him, we're all jacked up. He plays the first, 2 months of the year, coming back from that horrendous injury, and plays an incredible clip, and he slows down as the season goes on, but he was still effective. This year, he has not been good. And that continues again tonight, guys, on that horrendous night. Former G League MVP, Lorenzo Brown, he was horrendous too. 2 of 7 shooting, 0 of 2 from 3, -19 in 15 minutes. Awful. And Greg Monroe in 13 minutes. Look, I've loved what he's done early on in the year, guys, but today just was not a good game for Greg Monroe. 4 points, 4 boards on 2 of 6 shooting. And he was a -14 in 13 minutes. That's awful. That is all. Anytime you are a minus more than the minutes you played, that's not good. And I'm really shocked with the not so good play of Greg Monroe and Ibaka's fouls getting up there. Ideally, it might have been late in the fourth quarter when he started to get those big fouls, but he eventually fouled out and then got teed up, and that was basically the end of the game. I'm shocked we did not see Chris Boucher for more than 2 minutes when the game was over, pretty much. I'm really shocked. Because Chris Boucher, as we've all been noticing, and we can't stop hearing about it because he's a Canadian kid lighting up the G League like it's Pee-wee basketball. And yet, in a game where your team can't shoot, he's stuck to the bench. A big man who can shoot threes. Look, Greg Monroe was having a tough game. That's where I'd give him a shot. But Nick Nurse did not, and Raptors lose, and they've now lost back-to-back games. They have now fallen, quite a bit lately. Obviously, 23-10 is still not a bad record, but the way this team has played lately, I'm discarding injuries because you can't help them. It is what it is. Siakam, Lowry, Van Vliet, JV, Norman Powell, they didn't play today. So we can't just say, well, the only reason they lost is because those guys didn't play. Look, to be a great team, you got to have depth too. And your depth players, CJ Miles, OG Anunoby, did not play well today. They didn't. When your team gets you 86 points, and Kawhi Leonard had 29 of them, it's not a recipe for a good ending. Now, am I nervous? Not really. Not really. Injuries are a big thing, and this team has been decimated with injuries. Late in the game, Danny Green gets hit in the face, and we're all like, oh God, no. Not again. Not another one. Even though it looked somewhat harmless, but he was down for a little bit, and every time a Raptor player is down now, I freak out because I'm like, this can't be happening again. And he seemed to be okay and finished out the game and everything, so that's good news. But when all of the guys that are injured are keys to your team, it's hard. JV, we've seen lately what this guy has done. We've seen all year what this guy has done with bench minutes. He's been incredible for most of the year. Van Vliet had a horrendous start, but over the last, month or so, few weeks, he's been steady Freddy. He's been Fred Van Vliet. I know that last play of the game against Portland, I was reaming at him for a bit. I mean, I just felt that was the smart move. It wasn't the smart move on his part, but it happened. But overall, he did have 18 points in that game. And Lowry, look, I know people can harp on Lowry. Sometimes everyone wanted to trade him like a month ago or something, and now that he's injured, everyone wants, it's like, oh, is Kawhi the problem? No. And remember when Norman Powell, the energy he brought early in the year, he was actually finding himself again. And we were actually kind of excited to watch him play. Then he gets a big injury, and we're like, this is terrible. And then Siakam, obviously, most improved player candidate. Obviously with that hard fall in the last game against Portland, obviously did not return in that game and doesn't play today. The only positive thing that I have to say, and it doesn't come from this game because it was not a good game on the offensive standpoint. Defensively, I think the Raptors did a great job. They were contesting a lot of shots. I think they did an all right job rebounding, and they were +7 on the glass. They held them to only 10 offensive rebounds. The Raptors had 13 offensive boards, but the Raptors only had 13 assists. But I'm not going to... Look, the only reason I'm not angry about that is because you only had 35 made field goals. You didn't shoot the ball well. So, yeah, assist numbers are going to be down. Turnovers, you only had 11. Not a big number. They had 8, so they did a good job taking care of the basketball. The positive thing I have to say is that the Raptors do not play until Wednesday. That's all I got. And the next thing, they're at home. Problem, you're facing the Indiana Pacers, a team who has been kicking everyone's rear end. They've won now 7 straight games with Victor Oladipo back. They've been great, and I said it on the podcast. Evan didn't agree with me that Indiana's a threatening team. I think they're a great-looking team. You can't count them out. They're 20-10. The Raptors are 23-10. You see how close that is? It's not easy. And this Raptor team has to come out there on Wednesday night hoping some guys are coming back from injury. But I'm also hoping that they're healthy coming back. I don't want Lowry or Fred Van Vliet to come back and not be 100%. I mean, ideally, you're never going to be 100%. But even if you're 90%, I'd be okay with you coming back. Anything less, anything to hinder your playing, I don't want them to play. But this team needs to get back in a win column. They've been on the road for a while. They're now coming back home, facing a good team. Anybody going to that game against Indiana, be loud. Show this team what Raptor fans are here to do, and that is cheer on this team no matter how you feel about them as of late. This Raptor team has been struggling. We know that. The thing that sucks is they played great defense today, but they can't get any offense, arguably because of injury and inconsistent shooting. And then you look at the last game against Portland, they couldn't get a stop, but they were shooting the lights out. So it was a really weird last couple games. But now this team gets a couple days, some maintenance days, to relax, breathe, get back into the swing of things, and then go out there on Wednesday against Indiana at home, looking to take care of business on home court. And I'm hoping that some of the players are going to be ready to be back. I'm hoping Lowry, Siakam, and Freddie. I'm hoping those injuries are not serious and they can get back in action on Wednesday. But heck, we don't know what the heck we don't know the seriousness of those injuries. So you got to take it day by day, guys. It sucks right now, and we have a few days to dwell on these losses, which sucks. We also got to think about this team and the future. You're not playing for now. You're not playing about December. You're playing about April, May, and June. That's what you want to play for. And right now, this team is struggling. Yes. They're not healthy. Yes. But you got to find a way to get those guys healthy at some point, all right? So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. You guys enjoyed this video, and you guys just really didn't enjoy this game today. It was an old-fashioned game today. But if you guys enjoyed that, I'm going to hit the subscribe or hit that like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below, guys. What'd you think of the game? What'd you think of the video? What'd you think of the Raptors play today? Also, the injuries. I mean, the injury bug has really plagued the Raptors this year. We haven't seen that too often over previous years. You've seen once in a while DeRozan and Lowry go down, but you haven't seen a span of like 5 or 6 guys go down the way they are right now for the Toronto Raptors. I want to hear what you guys have to say about that. What you have to say about the team's play, this game, everything, guys. All right. And Evan and I will talk to you guys podcast edition either Tuesday or Thursday. I'm not too sure quite yet. Link is in the description for the podcast channel and for the podcast itself on iTunes, guys. Twitter is also down below. Follow up, send me a DM. Do all that great stuff. And I will talk to you guys Leafs edition. All right. The Leafs are back in action. What is it, Tuesday? Tuesday night in New Jersey, taking on the Devils. Both the Leafs and Raptors on some road trips, and it's crazy because they haven't been playing well. Both teams as of late, so it's getting really hard to watch Toronto sports as of late. But hopefully that'll change at some point. Both teams are very good teams, so hoping they will turn things around shortly. The Leafs take on the New Jersey Devils in New Jersey, 7 o'clock puck drop. Keith Kincaid, Freddie Anderson, the expected starters in that game. And as for the Raptors, guys, like we said, they take on the Indiana Pacers back at home after a 2-day rest here. 7:30 tip-off at Scotiabank Arena. All right, the Raptors look to get back into the win column after these 2 tough losses. They get back into their own bed, get back at being home, and they got to, I'm hoping some guys get back healthy. I think we can all agree on that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll talk to you guys then.